ask you a question po. By the way, I am Jonalyn and Sarigumba, a third-year Bachelor of Physical Education student of University of Southern Mindanao. So, the purpose of this interview po, ma'am, is to gain more knowledge about of those people na same po sa inyo, ma'am, knowledgeable enough in the field of sports and dance or any activities involved movement po. It is also after this interview po, ma'am, I'm going to write short reflection about what you will share regarding to this topic po. Okay. So, mag-start na po tayo. Okay. So, the first question po, ma'am, is, can you please describe a typical day's activities in your job before pandemic po?
Typical activities before pandemic po. As a teacher, before pandemic, series of activities were given to students in Calaisa National High School. So, specifically, activities such as dance competitions, sports competitions, which are school-based, intramurals, division-based, and then regional-based. So, those are just parang simple lang na mga activities na given sa mga bata. Especially for those who are really, what do you call this, mga sports enthusiasts. So, we do series of screening para ma-screen ang mga enthusiast students na appropriate para sa mga specific activities.
What do you find most rewarding and enjoyable about your job before pandemic?
Being a teacher is not that easy, especially a PE teacher. You know why? Way back when I was in college, or even here na I am already a teacher, PE is really given least importance and priority. Diba? I don't know if in your generation, kung yung anak maghapon ang tanaw sa PE, but in our generation before, most of our colleagues will tell na, ay, PE naman sila, diba? It's because they've seen us dancing lang, dula-dula lang sa field, yung nana lang ilahang pagtanaw sa PE, but they don't know the real truth, what is physical education all about. And as being a teacher, the most enjoyable part is makita na ako mga students na they love or they are enhancing their hidden talent and hidden skills. Especially when I was assigned here in Calaisan. I was not expecting na daghan may mga talented students diri because dili ko nag-ay known ang school before. No? And before, when I was in high school, I was enrolled in Kinabawan City National High School under science curriculum. Sa mga months before, kami dito lang yung nag-daog, ano ba? PCNH is really wins in every competition. And then, on the latter part, in na ko dali sa Calaisan, nag-teacher na ko, dito na ko na-realize na I was tasked to handle kanang mga dance competitions, with dancing. Lisod siya in my part because ang mga students diri is very shy. Kanang ulawon, dili nila gusto na ipakita ilang talent. Though I know they have talents with them, in them rather. So katong first ako na competition nili sa Rihan, we placed second. Dito na ako nakita na grateful ko as a PE teacher because out of 40 participants na ako ang i-handle, most of them is wala ka engage o kanang series of competitions before. Na kanang, I am very happy na ako as a teacher ang naging way na mapagawa sa nilang hidden talent. And the judges there are not a typical judge. Actually, Ma'am Jessa, I think, Ma'am Jessa Buisan, one of the very bagtik na dance instructor in USN Babacan, one of the princess before, sa Vidadali. And my teacher is one of the judges. So, para sa ko, kanang happy kay ko that time. Kay, I was not expecting, I thought na dili ni maka-play, sana. And, ang most, dili din ako malimtan na experience is, I've seen the faces of my dancers, the happy faces of my dancers, which makes me happy as well as a teacher.
So, what do you find the least enjoyable part of your job before pandemic?
The least enjoyable moment. Really, during like in the four corners of the classroom, especially pag PE na ang subject, naman di uban students na dili physically inclined. So, that's really a challenge for a teacher. How are you going to engage all your students to participate in a specific activity? For example, ang inyong class is 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Very init. Kailangan nagreklamo ang mga bata. And that makes me sad. Okay? I've given the instructions beforehand, yet the students didn't bring extra PE uniform or even the apparatus that they will be using in the field. And ang pinaka-ano din is, makita niyo sa mga students na they don't have interest in a specific activity that they will be giving. So as a challenge, since we are a teacher, we need to be versatile. So we need to think of another activity or think of another option. Paano itong mga students na dili gusto sa ana na activity, ma-engage sila so that all of them can perform and participate.
So, what knowledge do you think is most essential to possess in your job?
As a teacher, in teaching physical education, you must be knowledgeable and of course skillful in your chosen field. Kasi, if you're teaching PE, yet you don't know the history and all the essential information about PE, students cannot relate. Say for example, sa field karon sa Department of Education, dili tanang teachers sa MAPE or MAPE majors. Some are TLE majors, some are other subject majors. So happen na ipatuloy sila MAPE, kaya wala na ilang teacher. Wala na ilang teacher na capable of teaching them. Mao na ang kalisod karon because luoy ang mga bata. For example, sa music, there are series of notes, o asa ibutang ang flat, sharp, so on and so forth. And ako English teacher, so wala jud ko'y background kung unsa jud ang correct position sa mga notes. Mag-base na lang sa YouTube, and then kung ako as a student, murag dili kaayo ko maka-learn since ang ako ang teacher is dili wala pud kayo siya na-learn. It's because dili ko niya feel. And in physical education, magtudlo ka og sayaw. For example, folk dance. So how are you going to teach your students the fundamental skills in folk dance, if ikaw mismo na teacher, you don't know the fundamental skills. So, mao siya ang essential jud na i-acquire sa isa ka teacher, especially in teaching physical education. Dapat you have the knowledge and you are skillful as well. Dili man imo na sa tanan aspect dapat maayo ka, but at least you know half of it. Kaya para kung pamuntanan ka sa estudyante kay wala ka kabalo na estudyante na very witty. Gusto kayong mag-interrogate, ma'am, ano mo na. Because I've been there when I was an intern sa National. I handled science curriculum grade 7. Grabe kayo siya ka magmuntana. So, ikaw, kung hindi ka gusto na maulawan ka na teacher, you need to be prepared. And, of course, you are confident enough to answer the questions of your students. Given na na-advocate ka ng mga ideas na nakatapo. So that if ever na naamon sila questions na related dito sa yung topic, hindi ko ito makaulawan sila.
So the next is, how much of a role does the teaching of motor skills play in your job?
Again,
how much of a role does the teaching of motor skills play in your job?
how much of a role does the teaching of motor skills play in your job? It gives a lot of time for me as a teacher, teaching motor skills. Because again, we have diverse students, so we have different types of students na ay mga physically inclined, ako uban na dili. So, in that case, you need to focus on the students who are not physically inclined. So, you can have the pairing. In that way, katong mga physically inclined students, pwede niyo sila i-pair sa non-physically inclined students. But in that way, na ay interaction between them, na maka-learn sila both. And then you as a teacher, you need to assist, ikaw na lang ang mag-facilitate sa katong mga dili kaayo physically inclined. You need to motivate them na PE is not only PE. No? The PE is really one of the essential subjects sa ilahang field or sa ilahang studies ko as well.
So, how would you describe your now in your specific profession?
It's really hard, honestly. Teaching PE, being a PE teacher during this pandemic is really hard. Because wala man po yung interaction between the teacher and the student. And then, we are just giving modules. And then sa module, there are series of tasks wherein they need to perform such activity. And then, how can we rate the performance task of a student na wala may face-to-face? So, it's very challenging na iso ako na kung ipaggrado ng bataan niya. Hindi man ako siya makita. Or, wala ko kabalo kung bisa pag mag-ingan siya na, ma'am, I have performed that kind of activity, blah, blah, blah. Yet, I don't have proof kasi nga, I wasn't able to see her or him. So, right now, ang ginagawa ko as a teacher in PE, if there is a specific activity wherein they need to perform, I instructed them to shoot a video, just like now, what we're doing, to shoot a video before, during, and after the performance. So before, ginapa-video na ko kung unsa ang preparations nga ginahimo sa estudyante. For example, they need to create a dance. So, kanang ginapa-shoot na ko like this, kahit na very brief lang na video, it's good. And then, so during, sa practice, and then the after is the result na, the output of the performance. And this is it's very hard because not all the students can do that activity. Number one, they don't have the gadget, no, para mag-shoot a video. Second, they don't have internet connection na maipasa. Out of 45 students, siguro, swerte na kung na ay 5 na mag-send sa ako via messenger or via email sa ilang ang mga outputs. So, struggle good. Even kanang mag-meeting ni, ang pinakaluoy dito the subject is math. It's because, gamay lang man dito ang history na to. Kanang if ano man tawag history, kanang about lang sa dili siya ingon na kuan ba dili siya ingon kaya sa uban ng subject na history gyud tanan ang ginapang sa to is siguro let's say 40% history, 60% should be performance. Kay ang ato ang main objective is mapakita sa bata ang ilang skill, ang ilang talent through performances. So since pandemic, dili gid nato na siya mahimo. So, mao din na ang pinaka-lisod. That's the hardest part of being a physical education teacher.
So, last question po is, for a parent student of motor learning, what do you think is the most important information for me to acquire po?
As a young PE, right? PE student, soon to be PE teacher, I think the most important information that you need to acquire personally as a personal is you need to, I know you naman, okay, you've been a dancer here, so the skill, you already have the skill, you just need to enhance it, no? If there's a specific genre of a dance na you find difficult with, then focus on those. Not on the genre that you mastered already. No? Okay? Because as a teacher, we need to be a multitasker. So, if your professor will tell you you need to perform a Latin dance, in that case, you can perform, you can dance a Latin. Though not a pro, but at least you can acquire the skill. Or if your professor will say you need to perform a specific jazz, then you can perform as well. So you need to be, the skill is in you already, so you need to enhance it. And of course, regarding with history, you need to work on that as well. Okay, dili lang po, let's prove to them, to those people saying, ay, mga PE na sila, diba? Let's prove to them na we're not just PE lang. We can answer your queries with regards to the history of PE. Dili lang ipang sayaw-sayaw, dili lang ipang dula-dula. And then, you need to be versatile as well. Kaya ni mo, kaya murag na ang ako ang PE teacher na kanang kaya ko tanan bahin mo, isang dili good, pero kaya nun, kay mao ang mindset sa mga tao sa PUA, ay mga PE teachers, mga PE leaders, ay maayo kayo na sila mga ngani, ay maayo ka na sila mga ngani, diba? So, those are the things for me that you should acquire. enhance what the skill you have already, and then work on the history, mga essential information. Okay. Or in case na you have stored ideas ba. And then be versatile. So that kung may mga series of opportunities for you to get, ready na ka, prepared ka as a PE teacher. Okay? Mo na dyan na imong panindigan. Kaya, even ako, sa MAPE, I really don't know arts yun. Like drawing, I really need that. Pero, wala ko yung mahimo, especially pag maingon ang imuhang ginatrabaho. Ma'am, please, kailangan na mo magpuan ka aning specific na kung sa arts. So, dili ko kabalo, di ba? So, you need to dig deeper kung saan mo ko siya paghimo. Kay, ang ilang mindset is, kaya mo na sa tingin. Because you are a PE teacher. So, those are the essentials that you need to acquire.
So, thank you tayo, ma'am.
Grabe
mo, daging natunod sa mga kikisip tayo sa time, willingness mo maraming sa
for interview po. If there are other things man na you have difficulties with, pwede naman tuloy ka. Kung kaya lang po na po siya.
My interviewee is a licensed professional teacher in Calaisan National High School, namely Miss Cyril May H. Pacheco. She also the coach of KNHS Women's Athletics. I am so happy and thankful for Ma'am Pacheco because of her willingness to be part of this activity. During interview, I've learned a lot from Ma'am Cyril on how to handle students during this pandemic and how it is really difficult for them because we all know that PE is more on performance. It is also challenging for them because they don't have interaction between teacher and students. Ma'am Cyril said that being teacher is not easy, especially PE teacher. PE is really given importance and priority. It is also being a teacher, the most enjoyable part for them is to see their student that they love and enhance their hidden talents and skills. But the least enjoyable for them is to see their student that they don't have interest in PE subject. That's why they need to be versatile. Mom also said that there are some colleges said that PE ra na sila but they don't know the real roots what is PE all about. PE is not only PE. PE is really one of the essential subject in her or his studies. Furthermore, Ma'am Cyril said that the most important information that I need to acquire as a young student and future physical instructor someday, that I need to be knowledgeable enough, skillful, enhance what skill I have already, learn another skills, and work the history of PE. The one thing Ma'am Cyril said makes me inspired that let's prove to them to those people say, PE ra na sila. Because we are not just PE, we can answer their queries with regards to PE. In conclusion, I've learned a lot from Ma'am Cyril that I can apply it someday as a future physical instructor. All of she said, it can help me and I know someday I experience what she experienced. But it is advantage for me because she gave me a lot of idea on how to handle as students.